Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the new Death Guard Codex. So exciting to see this one arrive here from Games Workshop. So it's a little bit later. This one arrived late in the post, but finally a chance to review the Codex. Usual format, it'll be like a Tactica review, and looking at the main sort of new stuff going on. Obviously it's going to be a complete overhaul here for 9th edition. The new Codex is very exciting. I really enjoyed the Necron one, Space Marine one, solid as well, so hoping the Death Guard Codex will be the same. We're looking at different which units. I don't collect Death Guard, Aaron Allen collects them on the channel, but if I was to collect Death Guard, I'll try and pick out units that I think look pretty good. So that's the idea of the review here. Before review, we'll cover the rules specifically, going for a lot of the newer stuff that's going on with the Death Guard. So big thank you to Games Workshop sending me a copy through the post. You can check out gamingfigures.com, they are the sponsors here on the channel, so you can get 40k stuff and a load of other gaming systems as well, all at a discounted rate. But I'm a big fan of the new codexes at the moment. I think Games Workshop have done a brilliant job. So this one looks fantastic. Yeah, it's this sort of wider format that they're using now, but it's very nice indeed. The layout is fantastic. So just going to go through all the pages and the artwork here. There he is, Mortarion. He has improved. We'll take a look at his rules a bit later on. Looks like they are decimating an Ultramarines force here. There's some of the old artwork. Wow. Fantastic. Very good. Games Workshop to bring back some of the old artwork. I mean, this stuff's God, good few decades old. Mortarion, so the rules about him. Typhus, another solid choice. This is the structure of the Legion. Plague Specialists, so Putrifiers, Tallymen, Foul Blight Spawn, Noxious Blight Bringers, all covered. The Triforge Cluster, so Warzone. Plenty of space in these new codexes to celebrate each of the factions, give you plenty of background story. Implements of Infection. It's a very, very strong theme of Death Guard. If you're going to collect Chaos Space Marines, they really do stand apart from all the others. The Venom Mariners. Fascinating. Artwork's superb. The Weeping Legion. Signs of Infection. So there's some new units coming along around. We'll see them. A new variant of the Terminators, I think. Blight Lord Terminator. Yeah, Blight Lord Terminators. Yeah, it was the Death Shroud. And there's the Blight Lord Terminators now. Devoted Bloat drones, a nightmare to play against. Very impressed with them. Times I've come up against, and there's Mortarion himself, which is just an incredible model. Beautifully painted. Here, amazing. Biologos Putrify. There's the new Lord of Virulence. We'll check out his rules as well. There's a Foul Blight Spawn. But sculpt work is incredible for these. What a fantastic range for the Death Guard. Incredible. So, you know, some say, oh, it's all about Primaris Marines and Games Workshop. All of their emphasis has been on them, but they've done a great job here with the Death Guard. Fantastic models and a complete range now. Really exciting stuff. So this is your layout for the new codexes. we get straight into the rules then. So, choice of secondaries. You're allowed to pick one of these if you wish as one of your secondaries. So some unique ones here. The Death Guard, I guess, like may not be the fastest of armies, but very resilient and tough and hard to get rid of. Like a bad infection, I guess. Hard to get rid of them. So that's the kind of theme running with those. And so we're looking for secondaries that kind of reflect that as you play the game. So they're worth 15 points each, whichever one you choose. So no mercy, no respite. Fleeing vectors score 3 victory points at the end of the battle round if any enemy units fail morale tests this battle round, and that one or more models destroyed by attacks made with plague weapons this battle round. So you're relying on the opponent failing morale. So you're not going to choose that one every game. Depends who you're up against. Yeah, morale can be tricky to try and get that one on each battle round. So not so good, that one. So just seeing what you're up against here, which ones to compare to. So thin their ranks, not very popular. Grind them down. So trying to destroy more units than the opponent as possible, and then while we stand we fight. So yeah. So for Death Guard, even that one might be an appropriate one for them. Try and keep units alive, the most expensive ones. So that might be a stronger one to go for. Battlefield Supremacy. So for that one, it's Engage on fronts, Line Breaker and Domination. Domination, I don't know if anyone seen use that one. Engage on fronts, very popular, so table quarters. And then Line Breaker, depending on your army, I don't think Line Breaker is going to be suitable for most Death Guard armies. So Engage on fronts, table quarters, quite a solid choice. Or you can go for Despoiled Ground. So if you select this objective, you can score points as follows. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle if you have one or more bubonic Astartes units wholly within your opponent's deployment zone, and one or more bubonic Astartes units wholly within your own deployment zone. So straightforward enough. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle if you have one or more bubonic Astartes units from your army wholly within 3 different table quarters. Right, so it's similar to engaging all fronts in some way. And those units are all more than 6 inches away from the battlefield. Score 6 victory points instead if you have one or more bubonic Astartes units from your army wholly within each table quarter. And those units are all more than 6 inches from the centre of the battlefield. So this is a big one for the end of the game. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle if you control more than half the total number of objective markers on the battlefield, and there will be bubonic Astartes units from your army within 3 inches of each of those objective markers. It's quite a stretch. Okay, and then 4 victory points in the battle if every objective marker of the battlefield is within contagion range of a contagion ability that your units from your army have. So there's lots of ways to pick up points. All seems to cash in at the end of the game. So you need to finish well to rake in a load of points. But yeah, maybe. I do prefer points being raked in during the game and kept, as opposed to the pressure of having to fulfill multiple things to then get the points at the end of the game. So that's okay. I would say for a steady flow of points and points that you're going to get and you keep them, engaging all fronts would be the simpler and stronger one, I reckon. So I'll probably still stick with that. So these two, they're okay, but not that amazing. And then Shadow Operations, Spread the Sickness. So you've got Raise the Banners High, which Death Guard will be pretty good at. Investigate sites, deploy scramblers, which is being used in some of our games recently and seems pretty good, and I think would suit the Death Guard well. That's sort of moving through table quarters or thirds, moving through the table and scoring points for each stage you get to would suit the Death Guard, I think, and then Teleport Home is the other one. Or you can go for Spread the Sickness. If you select this objective, then Death Guard infantry units from your army can perform the following action. So, Spread the Sickness is an action. One unit from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase if it's within 3 inches of an objective marker that's not been contaminated. A unit cannot start this action whilst the enemy units, excluding aircraft, within 3 inches of the same objective marker. So, you've got to clear it previously, move on to it on your turn, and then start the action. It's completed at the end of your turn. So roll a dice on a 4+, the objective marker is said to have been contaminated. So it's a 50-50 chance. And the unit performing this action suffers D3 mortal wounds, and the objective marker is said to have been contaminated. Right, it's actually going to wound you as well. Ugh. Score 3 victory points at the end of the battle for each objective marker on the battlefield that's been contaminated by a unit from your army. So that is a tricky one. as well. Each turn you've got to clear it, wait, on to your next turn, start the action, try and roll a 4+, take D3 mortal wounds, and then get your 3 points at the end of the game. So, and if that's on one objective, so you could try and go for, really, to get the max out on that, you need to do it to 5 objectives. Not so sure about that one. Leave your own comments. I'll give my own feedback in these videos and sort of Tactica, but these ones are okay, but they're quite tricky to get right. And I would still lean towards, despite the theme of these, great ideas, but I would still lean towards the standard secondaries in the rulebook are stronger. But maybe not. There's a lot of points up available for this one here, Battlefield Supremacy, to spoil ground. Okay, well, leave your own thoughts and feedback, especially if you're a Death Guard player. Then leave some comments below. So moving on to Detachment Abilities next. So, what I've been told, I've heard so far, is Death Guard seem quite complex and complicated to use, but we'll see. So, Detachment Abilities then. If your army's Battleforged, Death Guard detachments gain the Diseased Minions, Infernal Jealousy, and Foetid Virion abilities. So there's 3 abilities here. As Bubonic Astartes units in Death Guard detachments gain the Inexorable Advance ability, I think similar to what I already have. Then Plague Marines and Poxwalkers units gain Death Guard detachments gain the Objective Secured ability from the 40k rulebooks. That's just a troops rule, so that's fine. So the Inexorable Advance, that's going to be units like let's just have a look. Plague Marines, so Inexorable Advance. So it's not marked in here, they just get it. Just need to remember they get it. We'll cover that here in just a moment. So, Diseased Minions then, first of all. So you cannot include more Plague Follower units than Bubonic Astartes core infantry units in each Death Guard detachment in your army. So it's just helping you balance the army out. You cannot include more Poxwalker units than Bubonic Astartes core infantry units in your Death Guard army. So that's it. That's all. It's just helping you with the structure, making sure you keep it balanced. That's fine. Then Infernal Jealousy. Necrons have something similar with the HQ structure. So there's rules here to try and help you keep your army appropriately balanced and themed, which is fine. Infernal Jealousy. You can include a maximum of 1 Lord of the Death Guard unit in each Death Guard detachment in your army. You can include a maximum of 1 Demon Prince unit in each Death Guard. So again, it's giving you your structure. So it's very straight. All these rules just helping you as you form your army. And then Foetid Virion. Include up to 3 Foetid Virion units in the Death Guard detachment while only taking up to 1 Elite's battlefield role slot. For each of these units must be from a different data sheet. So again, it's all structural stuff. So really, we just want to Inexorable Advance. This unit counts as having remained stationary if it did not fall back or advance in your previous movement phase. So fantastic, it's helpful with bolters and heavy weapons and so on. If this unit has the vehicle keyword, it does not suffer the penalty incurred to its hit rolls for firing heavy weapons at enemy units that are within engagement range, so there's no -1. And then if this unit has the infantry keyword, it can ignore any roll modifiers to its move, characteristic, advance rolls and charge rolls. So you can't stop them, they'll just keep moving at the same rate. So quite straightforward. They're just some structural stuff, and then a few infantry or units with the Inexorable Advance. So it's going to be some vehicles as well, but just solid movement and no minuses as you move as well. So look, it's giving you an idea of an army that's just a steadily advancing army, and you're just going to you have to try and stop them as much as you can. So that's the rules there. Plague Companies next. So far so good, it's quite straightforward. So if your army's Battle Forged, Plague Company units in each Death Guard detachment gain access to the following Plague Company rules, provided every model in that detachment is drawn from a Plague Company, is drawn from the same Plague Company. So it's like chapters type idea going on here, and here they are. So you sort of choose one of these to be the theme for your army in the appropriate roles. Such a detachment is referred to as a Plague Company detachment. So you've got associated Plague Company Warlord Traits, Stratagems, Relics, and so on. So we'll get stuck into these and see which is best. I'll give my impressions here of which ones I go for. If I was doing Death Guard, it would be like an aggressive army, but not one that's gonna. It's kind of a steady advance, an unstoppable advance, similar-ish to the Necrons. Yeah, but just a steady advance and an army that's so tough and hard to get rid of that the opponent just can't cope with this advancing plague across the battlefield. Like an infection, just spreads out. That kind of idea. So Harbingers is the first one. So you got a stratagem. This is the first Plague Company here. Alright, so that's your different companies. Up to 7th. Okay. If you're taking Mortarion, it may well be these ones. Maybe. So you've got a stratagem, strategic ploy. Uses 1 command point. Uses stratagem in the fight phase, and Harbinger's Poxwalker's unit is selected to fight. To the end of that phase, each time model unit makes an attack, you reroll the hit rolls. Rerolling hit rolls, useful enough, kind of. The Warlord trait is Shamble Rot. So the Warlord, Shamble Rot, Contagion. While an enemy unit, excluding vehicle units, is within contagion range of this unit, at the start of your opponent's movement phase, roll a d6, subtract to one of the enemy units a character, keyword. On a 4+, enemy unit suffers mortal wound. On a 6, the enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wound. So a chance to cause a mortal wound, if not more, it's okay. And infected remains, Relic. It's Harbinger's model only. Once per battle, at the end of movement phase, you can select an objective marker in 3 inches of the bearer. While the bearer is on the battlefield, that objective marker has the Contagions of Nurgle ability and is considered to have all the same Contagion abilities that the bearer has. Okay. So nothing too incredible, really. Yeah, it's just granting you. So they've done this again. You know, like Eldar, the craft worlds, you get a little army trait, depending on which craft world you go for. -1 to hit rolls, or rerolling 1s to short, something like that. There should be something like that in each of these for the Death Guard. But I still got it wrong. I mean, all you're getting is a unique stratagem, a Warlord trait, and a relic, and that's it. But there should be, I think there should be just a little simple rule to match in with the theme. So, you know, one of these companies is expert shooting, just give them reroll 1s to the hit roll, something like that. But they haven't done that, but never mind. Inexorable next, second company. So the stratagem is 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when an inexorable unit from your army is selected as the target of a charge. To the end of that phase, it's -2 to charge rolls. So, it's okay. It's Warlord trait, Ferric Blight. Ferric Blight Contagion. While an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, each time an attack is made by a friendly inexorable model against that enemy unit, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. That's not bad at all. Yeah, extra AP -1's very useful. Yeah, no, I think that's not bad at all. Leech, Spore, Casket, Relic. An extra unit or model only. Each time an enemy model is destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the bearer, select one friendly inexorable vehicle model within 18. That model regains a lost wound. No more than 3 wounds regained per turn. So it's okay. Just need to remember it during the game. Strange on that one. Mortarion's Anvil. So you get Relaptic Assault. Use your stratagem in the opponent's charge phase. When an enemy unit finishes a charge move, select any number of Mortarion's Anvil units from your army within 3 inches of that enemy unit. At the end of that phase, the select units are eligible to perform heroic interventions as if they were characters. That tactically, yeah, that could be very useful. And then Gloaming Bloat, Warlord trait. Warlord has the following ability. Gloaming Bloat Contagion. While enemy units within contagion range, the enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. That's useful. Each time model when that enemy unit makes an attack, the hit roll and the wound roll cannot be re-rolled. And that's not bad either. But you get both of those abilities. So that's quite a good one, that one. Yeah, and then Warp Insect Hive for the Relic. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. And that one's pretty good as well. You put both onto the same model and you've got a pretty good combo actually. So the third company and that one, yeah, so those three combined together on one model is pretty good, tactically very useful. So the third company looking strong enough. Next is the Wretched. So this is for the fourth play company. So you've got Requisition Stratagem here for one command point. Use a stratagem before the battle when you're mustering your army. For one Wretched Psyker from your army. The model knows one additional psychic power, and once per psychic phase you can reroll one psychic test taken for that model. Yeah, very useful. You get it every turn. I think it's worth one command point. Sevenfold Blessings it's called. Yeah, good one. Warlord Traits is Eater Plague. The Warlord is Eater Plague Contagion. One enemy unit is within contagion range. Each time attack is made by a friendly Wretched model against the enemy unit. Unmodified roll over 6. Automatically wounds the target. Pretty good. And the Relic, the Demon's Favour. Wretched Malignant Plague Caster model. The bearer's Pestilential Fallout ability is replaced with the following ability: Torrent of Putrefaction. Each time this model successfully manifests a psychic power, if the result of the test was 7 or more, the chosen or closest enemy unit within 12 suffers D3 mortal wounds, otherwise the closest enemy unit within 6 suffers a mortal wound. Yep, fine. Not bad at all. Yeah, so the fourth company looks okay. The Poxmongers next. This is for the fifth company. So, a Bilious Blood Rush. Uses stratagem, one command point, uses stratagem in your shooting phase, and the Poxmonger's Demon Engine unit from your army selected to shoot to the end of the phase. Models in that unit can make attacks with blast weapons against units within engagement range of that unit. Each time a range attack is made by a model in that unit against an enemy unit within engagement range of the unit, add 1 to the attack's hit roll, so it's okay. And then Sanguous Flux for the Warlord. It's Contagion, whilst an enemy unit is within contagion range, subtract 1 for leadership characteristic of models in the enemy unit, and subtract 1 from combat attrition tests taken from that unit as well. So if you combine that with your choice of chapter approved secondaries, this one here, Fleeing Vectors, you could do a combo of that to try and get more enemy units to fail morale tests. Okay. So, Iron Clot Furnace, Poxmonger's model only. In your command phase, you can select one friendly Poxmonger's Demon Engine within 6 inches of the bearer until the start of the next command phase. Models in that unit have a 4+ invuln save. Wow. Cool. That's pretty good. Right, next, the Ferryman, 6th company. On Droning Wings, 1 command point. Stratagem, use a stratagem in your command phase. Select one Ferryman Foetid Virion model in your army. Then select one of that model's aura abilities. To the start of the next command phase, it's +6 inches to the aura. Warlord Trait, the Droning. The Droning Contagion, while an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit at the start of the movement phase, halve the enemy unit's movement characteristic until the end of the phase. So you can slow them down. It's one you've got to try and remember during the middle of the game and to remind your opponent. And then the Ferryman's Scythe. Don't think that's that useful, that one. The Ferryman's Scythe, equipped with a Man Reaper, it replaces the Man Reaper, and you get it's a melee weapon. You can go for 2 options: Cleave, +3 strength, 8 -3 and 2 damage, or Scythe, +1 strength, 8 -1 and 1 damage. For Cleave, each time attack is made with this weapon, it's -1 to the hit roll, and for Scythe, it's 3 hit rolls instead of 1. So not bad. Mortarian's Chosen Sons for the 7th company. The Plague Brewers, 1 command point. Stratagem. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. When a Mortarian's Chosen Sons unit from you selected to shoot, to the end of that phase, Plague Bearers, Plague Belchers, Plague Spurt Gauntlets, and Plague Spewers in that unit are equipped with have a damage characteristic of 2. Yep, helpful. Okay, and then Nurgle's Fruit Warlord Ability, Warlord Trait. And Nurgle's Fruit Contagion. While an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, each time an attack is made by a friendly Mortarian's chosen son's model against that unit, the target does not receive the benefits of cover. Yeah. Okay, not that amazing. And then Relic Vomitrix, or Vomitrix. It replaces a Plague Sprayer, and with that you get range 12, Assault 7, nice, Strength 7, AP minus 3, and 2 damage. And it's auto hits as well. Nice weapon. 7 auto hits at strength 7 minus 3, 2 damage. That is a killer relic. That's pretty good. Nice. That's going to wreck Primaris marine units. And if you get charged as well. Wow. Brilliant weapon. It's one of the best relics I've seen in a long time. Vomitrix. Nice. Okay, so that's those. Stratagems next. So I'm guessing there should be some helpful stratagems, some ones that are pretty good, nicely themed, but the removal, the toning down of stratagems now, that the killer ones that we saw for the previous edition codexes, ones that were just deal breakers, game breaking stratagems, deadly ones, especially for armies like the Space Wolves had good ones, Space Marines and so on. Those I reckon should be gone, but still there should be some pretty helpful ones. So I used to search for golden nuggets. I'm not expecting to find many, just expecting to find some useful enough stratagems just to help your army in the fight, but not so much the sort of the game-changing stratagems that they used to be. Which is good. I like the toned down, slightly toned down stratagems now. But we'll see. Trench fighters then, 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. Select a Death Guard Plague Marines unit for your army. When it fights until the end of that phase, each time model that unit fights, if it is equipped with any Plague Knives, make an extra attack with the Plague Knives. Right, so extra attacks. So, see, it's just like helpful, a little bit helpful. But that's about it with that one. Creeping Blight. 1 command point. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. When Death Guard unit for your army is selected to fight, to the end of the phase, each time model unit makes an attack with a Plague Weapon, unmodified wound roll of a 6, the attack has an arm penetration characteristic of -4, so it's like a rend, a Genius to the rend type attack. And that could be very useful as well, just as you need it. Yes, that's helpful. Fire Fever, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in the shooting phase and Death Guard Hellbrute model from your army selected to shoot. To end of that phase, that model can only target a single eligible enemy unit, and each time an attack is made by that model, add 1 to the attack's hit roll and the wound roll as well. So, yeah, again, helpful enough. Vermid Whisperers, or Whispers, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in shooting phase. The Death Guard Terminator unit from your army selected to shoot, or in the fight phase when the Death Guard Terminator unit is selected to fight, it's going to be +1 to the hit roll. Yeah. Again, useful. Just at the right point in the game, you need a little bit of extra help. And stratagems can just give you a little boost. Haze of Corruption. Use a stratagem in the fight phase and the Death Guard core unit from army selected to fight. To the end of that phase, each time model unit is destroyed by an attack made by a model in that unit, any excess damage inflicted by the attack is not lost and is instead suffered by another model in that unit. So do not make a saving throw for that model. This continues until there's no excess damage remaining. That could be it's 2 command points. That could be, in the right circumstances, that could be a killer. So you've got a semi-infected golden nugget here. Yeah, not bad. That Haze of Corruption. Your overflow of wounds. In the right situation, that could be really nasty. So there is a good one. Haze of Corruption. Eternal Hatred. Again, this is 2 command points. Use the stratagem in the shooting phase when a bubonic Astartes infantry unit from your army is selected to shoot, or in the fight phase when they're selected to fight. To end that phase, each time model unit makes an attack, it's +1 to the attack's wound roll. Okay, 2 command points for that, but it could be very useful. Just giving a little bit of extra help trying to wound a target. Mutant Strain, 1 command point. Use a stratagem In the fight phase, when a Poxmonger unit from your army is selected to fight, at the end of that phase, each time attack is made by a model on unit, unmodified hit roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to normal damage. That's what on earth? That's fantastic. An unmodified hit roll of 1 inflicts a mortal wound on the Poxmongers after the fight is resolved. That is very, very useful. In addition to normal damage. Mutant Strain. Another good one. I think Death Guard players should be happy with the stratagems here. There's some strong ones. Very good so far. So that's Battle Tactics stratagems we looked at. We're on to Epic Deed next, the brown ones. So there's 5 of them. So 1 command point for Diseased Effluence. Use this stratagem in your command phase. Select one Death Guard character model from your army, excluding demon models. One enemy unit within engagement range of that model. The model suffers a mortal wound, and then you can roll 1d6 and 2+. The enemy unit suffers 2d3 mortal wounds. If that enemy unit has the character keyword, it suffers d3 mortal wounds instead. Yeah, man, that's another good one. Use it in your command phase. You've survived the combat, you start a new turn, and you just are very high chance of chucking out 2d3 mortal wounds. Or d3 if it's a character. That's crazy. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. That's an excellent one. So another good one. Usually I review stratagems, right? It's probably 2 pages. It's 4. Usually I do the stratagems for new codexes, and you know, if I finish by now, I'll go back and say, yeah, there's 2 or 3 good ones. There's 2 or 3 good ones already, and we've looked at a quarter of them. So everything else is a bonus now, if there are any more good ones. But that's another good one. Disease Effluence, nasty stuff. God. Right, Unclaimed Machine Spirit, 1 command point. Use your stratagem in your command phase. Select one Death Guard Machine Spirit model from your army to the start of the next command phase. That model is considered to have its full wounds remaining for the purposes of determining. Right, so it's just top bracket for I think very useful. Befouled Incubators, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in the fight phase and the Death Guard character model from your army selected to fight. At the end of that phase, each time an enemy unit is destroyed by an attack made by that model, roll a d6 and a 3+. The enemy model's unit suffers a mortal wound after your model has resolved all of its attacks and they've capped it at 3 mortal wounds. Another brilliant stratagem. God, really good. Ability to cause multiple mortal wounds just causes trouble for anything, you know, whether it's a character, vehicle, infantry, whatever it is. Brilliant. Release the Toxins. She's got some real stratagems here that just make it really nasty to get too close to the Death Guard. So they keep advancing across the battlefield and you just don't want to go anywhere near them, so it just makes them a bit scary. This is really good. Release the Toxins, 2 command points. Use a stratagem in your command phase. Select one Death Guard character model from your army that's equipped with a Relic of Decay at the start of the battle. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 7 inches. On a 2 to 5, it's a mortal wound. On a 6, it's d3 mortal wounds. Model can only be selected for the stratagem once per battle. But another chance to use stratagems, mortal wounds. So next is Eruption of Filth. Sounds like something that James does when he burps. He's probably not watching this video, so we'll move on. 1 command point. Use this stratagem in any phase. When a Death Guard character model from your army is destroyed, instead of using any other rules that are triggered when a model is destroyed. Before, for example, Putrid Explosion ability, before removing that model from play, roll 1d6 for each other unit within 3 inches, excluding Nurgle units. On a 2 to 5, unit suffers a mortal wound. On a 6, it's d3 mortal wounds. They've gone crazy for mortal wounds here. Loads of chances of causing mortal wounds. Could be their trademark. And mortal wounds, they kind of fit in with this because they're just, whatever it is a mortal wound comes against, it just rots away at their wounds, or it's a vehicle, a character, whatever. And so I think quite appropriate. Just whatever they touch is in trouble with mortal wounds. And so it's like a plague type thing. It just rots whatever it comes in contact with. So good theme and very deadly here. Champion of Disease. This is requisition stratagems here. 1 command point. Use a stratagem before the battle. When you're mustering your army, select one bubonic Astartes model from your army that has the word champion in their profile and give them one of the following relics of decay. This must be a relic that they could have Reaper of Glorious Entropy, Plague Skull of Golfire, Plague Bringer, and Suppurating Plate. Each relic in your army must be unique. You cannot use this stratagem to give a model 2 relics. So this is extra relics, great. Gifts of Decay, so use a stratagem, 1 command point, use a stratagem before the battle when you muster in your army. If your Warlord has the Death Guard keyword, select 1 Death Guard character from your army, you can give them an extra relic. Excellent. And then you can, it tells you, I think it's the usual rules, the size of the game. You can use a stratagem multiple times. Plague Chosen, 1 command point, it's an extra Warlord trait. Fine, all standard stuff. Grandfatherly Influence, 1 or 2 command points. Use a stratagem before the battle when you're mustering your army. Select 1 Death Guard Chaos Spawn unit from your army. Add 1 to their toughness. Then the unit has Disgustingly Resilient ability. And if the unit contains 3 or fewer models, the stratagem costs 1 command point, otherwise it's 2. So a chance to make them better, fine. Now on to Strategic Ploy now. Sickly Corrosion, 2 command points. Use a stratagem on either the fight phase or shooting phase and Death Guard model from your army makes an attack with a plague weapon that scores a hit against enemy units. You are waiting for the hit to come through first. To the end of that turn, each time an attack is made by a Death Guard model against that enemy unit, reroll a wound roll of 1. So it costs you 2 to do it. Belching Fumes, 1 or 2 command points. Use a stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select on Mephitic Blight Hall as unit from your army until the end of that phase. Each time an enemy model makes an attack with a ranged weapon against that unit, reduce the number of attacks made with that weapon by 1 to a minimum of 1. So if that unit contains 2 or fewer models, the stratagem costs 1 command point, otherwise it's 2. So yeah, chance just to try and absorb some of the shots coming through. Nice. Especially against D3 type weapons, that would be very useful. Blight Bombardment, 2 command points or 3 command points. Use a stratagem in your command phase if a Death Guard Warlord from your army is on the battlefield. Select 1 point on the battlefield and place a marker. So it's like a orbital bombardment here. At the start of your next command phase, the opponent's got a turn to try and run away. Roll 1d6 for each unit within 6 inches of the centre of the marker, adding 1 if it's an infantry unit and -1 if it's a character. On a 2 to 6, it's D3 mortal wounds. On a 7+, that's if you roll a 6, it's D6 mortal wounds. The marker is then removed. If your Warlord has the Lord of Virulence keyword, the stratagem costs 2, otherwise it's 3. And it's once per game. It's okay, it's very useful, well, not very useful, but it might be useful enough to play it at a target that's on an objective, forcing your opponent to choose to either stay where they are or to move away from the objective, maybe. The Deadwalk again, 1 command point. Use a stratagem from your command phase. Select 1 Poxwalker's unit from your army. Roll 7 d6s for each 3+. The unit's destroyed models. One of the models is added back with a wound. Models added back to the unit in this way can be set up with an engagement range of enemy units that are already within engagement range of that unit. Each unit can only be selected for the stratagem once per battle. But that's very, very, very useful. Exceptionally useful. Really good. Another good one. Cloud of Flies, 2 or 4 command points. Use a stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select on Bubonic to start his infantry unit from your army. At the end of the phase, each time an enemy model shoots, and if that unit is not the closest eligible target or within 12 inches of that model, then until the shooting phase is resolved, that model cannot target that unit. In addition, until the end of the phase, if the selected unit has the Bodyguard ability, it loses that ability. If the selected unit has the Terminator keyword, the stratagem costs 4 command points, otherwise it's 2. So a chance to block shooting at certain targets. So that one, with Cloud of Flies, tactically, potentially very, very helpful. Break Their Spirits. Well, that's one that's well worth remembering in game. To try and protect certain units. Break Their Spirits. 1 command point. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. The Death Guard Terminator model from your army destroys a model of an enemy in an enemy infantry beast or swarm unit. At the end of the turn, subtract 4 from the leadership characteristic of models in that unit. Ouch. 4. God, very good. Dark Cravings. 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Select one of voted bloat drone unit from your army. to the end of the phase. If that unit is within 6 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of enemy units, it's eligible to perform heroic interventions as if it were a character, so tactically very useful. When doing so, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. All the other rules for heroic interventions still apply. So again, one that's worth trying to remember in the middle of a game. You can actually try and heroically intervene 6 inches with a unit, or with a floated blight drone unit from your army. So good bodyguard type abilities with them. Alright, so next, Demonic Gluttony. One command point. Use this strategy in the fight phase and the Death Guard demon engine model from your army selected to fight until the end of that phase. Each time an enemy model is destroyed by an attack made by that model, that demon engine model regains a lost wound to a maximum of 3. One command point, very helpful. Flash Outbreak. Use this strategy from your command phase. Select one Plague Company unit from your army. If there are any other Plague Company units from your army on the battlefield that have Contagion Abilities that the selected unit does not have, then until the start of the next command phase, the selected unit has all the same Contagion Abilities. That is in addition to the ones it already has. At the start of the next command phase, units from your army count the battle round number as one higher than the current battle round number for the purpose of determining contagion range for their Contagion Abilities that they have. So we'll be looking at that later on. It's on page 63, we're on page 47 at the moment. Putrid Detonation, 1 or 2 command points. Use a strategy in any phase. A Death Guard vehicle model from your army is destroyed. Do not roll to see if it explodes. It's auto-explode, very appropriate. If that model has a wounds characteristic of 9 or less, the strategy costs 1, otherwise it's 2. Okay, and then Foul Smoke Screen, just -1 for hit rolls. Yeah, ones that have the smoke screen keyword. And shooting phase, similar to Space Marines with their smoke launchers stratagem. The Blight Wing, or Blightening, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in the shooting phase. Select up to 3 Death Guard models from your army. At the end of that phase, plague weapons with the grenade type that those models are equipped with lose the blast ability, have a type characteristic of pistol 6. And each time that model makes an attack with one of these ranged weapons against an enemy unit with engagement range, it's auto hits. Wow. Brilliant stratagem. Just very cool. Nice. Overwhelming Generosity. 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and a Death Guard unit from your army selected to shoot. To the end of the phase, add 6 to the range characteristic of plague weapons models in that unit are equipped with. Useful. Just if you caught out a bit of extra range. Excellent. Virulent Rounds, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and a Death Guard core unit from your army selected to shoot. To the end of the phase, bolt weapons models that unit equipped with have the plague weapon ability. Disgusting Force. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and a plague burst crawler model from your army selected to shoot. To the end of that phase, each time model that unit makes an attack with plague burst mortar, the attack has a damage characteristic of 3. That is very helpful. And then after that model was shot, place or select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more attacks made by plague burst mortar by that model. Roll a d6 for each other unit within 3 inches, excluding Nurgle units, of the selected unit. Of 4+, it's a mortal wound. Not bad at all. Just give them a bit of a boost with that stratagem. So there it is. That's all the stratagems. I would say the stratagems are very, very good, and they make up for what I think is a little bit missing of these. A unique trait for each one, but the stratagems here I think are excellent for Death Guard. Leave your own feedback, but I think these are good. Okay, so Deadly Pathogens. This is similar to the Necrons with the upgrades that you pay points for and you give them to Cryptax. So you've got something similar going on here for the Death Guard. So you've got Warlord Traits, Relics, and now points, upgrades that cost points as an extra as selection that Games Workshop have thrown in, which I think is okay. If your army's battle forged and includes any Death Guard detachments excluding those ones there, then when you're mustering your army you can upgrade any of the following models in your army by giving them a Deadly Pathogen. So it's Death Guard characters and Bubonic Astartes models that have the word champion in their profile, which I think is like the Sergeant, I think, for squads. So each time you give a model a Deadly Pathogen, select one plague weapon that model is equipped with to upgrade. This cannot be a grenade, weapon or relic. In addition to the effects listed for that deadly pathogen. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of that weapon. The power rating of that model's unit is increased by 1. If you're playing a match to play game, you could easily miss that. So remember you're on +1 strength there. If you're playing a match to play game or a game that uses points, then the points value of that model's unit is also increased by the amount shown on the table below. Alright, so there it is, yeah. Make a note in your army roster. Name characteristics cannot be given deadly pathogens. Right, so it's for your own unique characters. And that's it. So I'll call out the points cost. They're mostly 20 points here. Acidic Malady, 20 points. Explosive Outbreak, 20 points. Virulent Fever, 20 points. Befouling Runoff, 10 points. Unstable Sickness, 15. Corrosive Filth, 20. And Vicious Death, 10. So for this you'll get Acidic Malady. Improve the armor penetration characteristic of this weapon by 1. So that's it. It's going to cost you 20 points for that. So, bloom. Whoa. Yeah, that's very expensive. So you're getting +1 strength and an extra AP -1. So if you're going to do it, it's got to be on something that's a really good character to make it worthwhile. That's expensive for that, I think. Explosive Outbreak. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, a modified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. This is not punitive with a Tollkeeper ability. So 6s pop extra hits. I think that's expensive for 20 points. So if you're going to use these, you've got to put it on already expensive characters with lots of attacks and so on, just to get your points worth of what you're paying. Virulent Fever. Again, this is 20 points. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, a modified hit roll of a 6 or wound roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. But if you're rolling, you've got 5 dice or something, you might get the odd 6 here and there, but okay. Befouling Runoff. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. Costs you 10 points for that. Yeah. Unstable Sickness. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if enemy models are destroyed by that attack, roll d6, and a 4+, the unit suffers a mortal wound. The bearer cannot be selected for the Befouled Incubated stratagem, so it does limit you there with that, and it's capped at 3 mortal wounds as well. That costs you 15 points to get that one. That one's not bad. Corrosive Filth. Each time an attack is made by this weapon against a vehicle, it's +1 damage. It's going to cost you 20 points for that. And Vicious Death. Each time you roll to determine the number of attacks made with this weapon, you reroll hit rolls. You can re-roll the result. So, yeah, okay. So these upgrades are okay, and that's your points costs. So really the main focus here is benefiting mostly your weapons in close combat. So the only time it's worth it is on something with a really good stat line. Lots of attacks or a weapon that's already powerful. Interesting. Okay, so moving on. That's okay. I think that's quite expensive in points, but it may suit some people to give a little boost to weapons that they have. Warlord Traits next. So if the FR character model is your Warlord, you can select a Warlord Traits. Each time you determine a Warlord Trait from Mortarion, replace all instances of the Plague Company keyword in that Warlord Trait, if any, with the Death Guard keyword. A Death Guard character model, replace all instances of the Plague Company keyword in that Warlord Trait, if any, with the name of the Plague Company that your character is from. So there's 6 here. Typhus has Shamble Rot, and Mortarion has Revoltingly Resilient, Living Plague, and Arch Contaminator. He's got 3. Oh boy. Okay, so Revoltingly Resilient, this is what Mortarion has. Each time this Warlord would lose a wound, it's a 5+, feel no pain, so great. Living Plague. Whilst an enemy unit is within 3 inches, and Mortarion has this as well, any unit within 3 inches of this Warlord, that unit cannot be affected by aura abilities, excluding those are psychic powers of units from your opponent's army. So, yuck. You're trying to take Mortarion out with a unit, trying to get your rerolls to hit and wound or something like that, and it just cuts it out. It's going to make Mortarion that much more difficult to kill. Hulking Physique. Add 1 to the wounds characteristic of this Warlord. And each time an attack is made against this Warlord, unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 always fails. Yep, okay, so that's pretty strong. Nice. Arch Contaminator. This is Mortarion as well. Each time a friendly plague company, I think you have to replace that with Death Guard. So if whatever company it's from is going to help them. Core unit is within 6 inches of the Warlord. Each time model unit makes a melee attack with a plague weapon, you can reroll the wound roll. Oh, nice. Rerolling wounds. And each time model unit makes a ranged attack with a plague weapon, that targets unit within 12 inches, you can reroll the wound roll. Okay, so really getting the impression, as per usual with Mortarion, it's best to just try and bring him down from as far away as possible and not let him get near you. He seems a lot more difficult to get rid of in close combat. A lot more dangerous up close than from a distance. So these are all good. Rotten Constitution. +1 toughness for the Warlord, and each time attack with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 or -2 is allocated to the Warlord. It's treated as 0. Nice, another good one. So there's a great Warlord traits here. And Foul Effluence. So where's oh, Shamble Rot's back here for Typhus. Fine. So Foul Effluence, then Aura ability. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, at the end of the movement phase, roll 1d6 for that unit. On a 4+, it's a mortal wound. So this is okay. That one's alright. But a lot of these are fantastic. That Rotten Constitution one's good. Yeah, all good. Some great choices then. All the traits look fine. Nice. We've got a page of Relics here, and then the Psychic powers after that. So, you can give a relic to a character, not named characters and vehicles though, so on, so it's all fine, same as the Blood Angels Codex reviewed recently. So Reaper of Glorious Entropy, what equipped with a Man Reaper or Plague Reaper only, so you replace it and you get ×2 strength, 8 -3 and 3 damage. It sounds excellent. It's a plague weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. So that sounds very, very good. Plague Skull of Gophila, however it's pronounced. Once per battle at the end of the movement phase, the bearer can use this relic. If it does, select one enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer and roll 7 d6s. On a 4 to 5, it's a mortal wound. On a 6, it's d3 mortal wounds. 7 d6s. Yeah, one enemy unit. Yeah, that would be exceptionally nasty against a character. Yeah, and again, it's mortal wounds. That's a wretched one. That one. You're guaranteed to get 2-3 mortal wounds if you roll well. You could score 5, 6, 7. Ugh, horrible. All you got to do is get within 6 inches of an enemy unit, and that's it. That's the only requirement. You do it at your end movement phase as well. Horrible. That one there is. I would take that one in my army for sure. Somehow stick it on an army, a unit that's quite quick. Maybe a Demon Prince of Wings, something like that. I think you're allowed to. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Demon's Toll. Noxious Blight, bring a model only once per battle at the start of your opponent's movement phase. The bearer can use this relic. If it does, select one enemy unit within 6 inches to the end of that phase. Each time a unit is selected to fall back, roll a d6 on a 2+. The unit cannot fall back, must remain stationary instead. Again, very useful. Fulgurous Helm. Add 3 inches to the range of the Aura abilities. Putrid Periapt. Malignant Playcaster or Terminator Sorcerer model only. The bearer knows an additional psychic power. Once per battle, after successfully manifesting a psychic power, the bearer can regain up to d3 mortal wounds. That's not bad at all. The Tollkeeper. Tallyman model only. Tollkeeper is an aura ability while a friendly plague company core unit is within 6 inches. Each time model unit makes a ranged attack, a modified hit roll of a 6, scores an extra hit, so it pops extra hits. And that would be quite useful as well. Not bad at all. It's an aura ability that's constant. You get every turn of the game, you just keep going with it. So that one's pretty good. Revolting Stench Vats. Foul Blight Spore model only. The bearer has the following ability. Revolting Stench, which obviously is an aura. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of the bearer, the unit cannot make use of any Any rules that allow it to fight first never counts as having made any charge move this turn, irrespective of any abilities it may have. Useful. Suppurating Plate. Familiar with this one of Aaron's favourites. The rules then for this one: the bearer has a 2+ save, and each time it fights, after it makes its attacks, if the bearer lost any wounds as a result of those attacks, rolled a d6. On 2+, it's a mortal wound. It's not capped, and it seems to be just as powerful as ever. It is another excellent relic. So you've got some fantastic relics here for the Death Guard. So far, my impressions is that this codex is looking strong. Just a lot of nastiness in this codex, which you kind of hope for Death Guard. They're meant to be feared, and you wouldn't want to go near them. I'm starting to get that impression here. And this will make them particularly strong for 9th edition, because 9th edition, it's much more close proximity, the games. Melee units required much more. The distance between enemy units and models is tight in a smaller table, and the absolute requirement to get to the middle of the table and claim ground means that armies are going to clash so much quicker, and that means these upgrades here are exceptionally useful. Plague Bringer. Models equipped with a Bale Sword, Demonic, Plague Blade, Plague Knife, Power Sword only. If it replaces it, you get +2 strength, -3 and 2 damage, and it's a plague weapon. Each time a model is destroyed as a result of an attack made by this weapon, that model counts as 2 destroyed models for the purposes of morale. So, brilliant. So yeah, all good here. Now, wondering now about psychic powers. So you've got 6 to choose from, and a lot of these look like they are the same names as previously. I've had these played against my armies many times. Miasma of Pestilence is a blessing. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one for any Death Guard unit of an 18 with the Psyche until the start of the next Psychic phase. Each time an attack is made against that unit, it's -1 to the hit roll. Fine. I think that's just remained the same. Gift of Contagion. It's a malediction. It's Gift of Contagion is a warp charge value of 5, so very easy to make this one go off. If manifested, select one enemy unit of an 18 with the Psyche to the start of the next Psychic phase. -1 to their strength. If the result of the Psychic test was 8 or more, subtract 1 from the strength and attacks characteristic of models in that unit instead. So, not bad, helpful enough. Plague Wind. It's a Witch Fire. Plague Wind is a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches and visible to the Psyche. Roll 1d6 for each model unit. For each 6, it's a mortal wound. If the result of the test was 9 or more, it's 5+ for mortal wounds. That's pretty good. Plague Wind's nice. Putrescent Vitality. It's a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one friendly Death Guard infantry unit within 18 inches of the Psyche. To the start of your next Psychic phase, add 1 to the strength and toughness characteristics of models in that unit. Very helpful. Curse of the Leper. So it seems worth having the Psyche in the heart of your army, dishing out these powers just to generally help your army out. Curse of the Leper. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select the closest enemy unit of an 18 and visible to the Psyche. Roll 7d6s. For each dice result that exceeds the enemy's toughness, it's a mortal wound. So, like a bit of smite support, an extra kind of similar power, especially against lower toughness units. Gift of Plagues. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Death Guard unit within 18 inches of the Psyche. To the start of the next Psychic phase, add 6 inches to the range of any Contagion Abilities to a maximum of 12 inches. There it is. So yeah, not bad at all. So pretty good. So on to Crusade rules. I don't play Crusade. I've heard it's good fun. Others saying it just adds another layer of complexity. I'm not going to cover this here, but that's the rules. Battle traits, chaos boons, spreads of disease rules, requisitions, Crusade relics. An example of some Crusade armies. Look at these armies, they're amazingly good. Incredible. Yeah. Very, very, very strong theme with Death Guard. We're going to collect them. Aaron Allen's army is incredible, really, really nice. He's sort of painted them up in sort of the standard sickly green colour of the Death Guard. Looks really good. I've seen some other colour schemes, but as long as you can get that kind of rust and all the ageing and effects and so on the armour, you can come up with some amazing results. Brilliant. Yeah, if I was to paint Death Guard, I'd do lots of inks and washes and grime and so on, and go for effect mostly, and then just pick out some highlights here and there, and you'd have an army. Because of the strength of the sculpting, you'd have an army. It looks very good, I think, in actually quite a short-ish space of time. So on to the data sheets then. So what I'll do with the data sheets, I'll sort of semi-skip some bits, but I think there's going to be some rules, changes and improvements and so on, so I need to tread carefully, I don't want to miss too much. So I'll go for it as detailed as possible here without making the video too long. So we'll go to Plague Company keyword, abilities, plague weapons, then reroll wound rolls of 1, remorseless, each time combat attrition test, take the unit, ignore any roll modifiers, so that's the same as Nation of No Fear, malicious volleys, so that's the remaining, a model's units within half range, just extra shots or rapid fire. If you remain stationary, you get it as well. Remember your Inexorable Advance, I think it's called, where you count as remaining stationary to get that, and if you're a Terminator as well. Disgustingly resilient. Each time an attack is allocated to a model in this unit, subtract 1 for the damage characteristic of that attack to a minimum of 1. So it's -1 damage. So it's really going to have a big impact on damage 2 and D3, and it's going to make a big difference now with the Chaos Space Marine models being 2 wounds. So that Disgusting Resilient is very useful. Yeah, it's going to be a real bane on damage 2 stuff. So bear that in mind when you're up against Death Guard. You might want hard hitting damage 1. Lots of shots with good AP to break through. Strength 6 weapons. Yes. Yeah, and you think about the toughness as well. Yeah. So that's just, there's 2 bonuses coming through for Death Guard models, the standard Death Guard models. -1 damage and now the extra wound. Combine that with they're tougher than usual, you've got a problem trying to deal with them. Then we've got Contagions of Nurgle. If every unit from your army has the Death Guard keyword, excluding unaligned units, the unit gains the following ability: Nurgle's Gift, Contagion. While an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, subtract 1 for the toughness characteristics, so -1 toughness as well, so they're tough to deal with and you're getting weakened at the same time. So Contagion Abilities. Affect any models or units within contagion range. This changes with the battle round number, increasing as the battle progresses, as shown in the table below. The effects of multiple identical named contagion abilities is not cumulative, i.e. if an enemy unit is within range of 2 models with the same contagion ability, that contagion ability only applies to the enemy unit once. Note that while similar in many regards to aura abilities, contagion abilities are not affected by abilities that affect aura abilities and vice versa. So they act on their own and not affected by other stuff. It's Teleport Strike, your Deep Strike ability. So, battle round number. So on the first turn of the game, contained range is 1 inch. Then it's 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches on turn 4 plus. And this is your -1 to your toughness. Blech. Nasty. So it's an incentive for you to stay away, an incentive for them to come after you. But with 9th edition, you have to go after objectives and stuff. This is the problem. So, a Death Guard Demon Prince. I don't think I'll dwell too long on this kind of one here. It's a 5+ Infon save. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for core units within 6 inches. Toughness 6, 8 wounds, 6 attacks base. Nice. 2 up weapon skill and ballistic skill. The Plague Spear range 12 heavy d6. Auto hits. Strength 5 -1 1 damage. Demonic Axe is +2 strength, -2 AP and 3 damage. Nice. The sword is +1 strength. Should be at strength 8 still. Brilliant. AP -3 and 3 damage. No minuses to hit rolls and 6 attacks. Yeah. And Malefic Talons, you get an extra attack with that as well. And you can take Votive Wings. That'll give you a move characteristic of 10 and fly. Disgustingly Resilient. Contagions of Nurgle. And so on and so on. Nice. And he can attempt to manifest 1 psychic power, no smite, and 1 other power. But Death Guard Demon Prince with Wings, I think so. A good choice, and give him some deadly relics. Be a very useful unit. 3 up arms, so. Yeah, Typhus. Next, 6 wounds, 6 attacks for him. Just trying to pick out the 2-up armor save remains. His weapon, the Man Reaper. You can cleave. It's -1 to the hit roll, which is a shame, but that's just the way it is. It's at +3 strength, so he'll fight at strength 7, 8 -3 and 3 damage. And the scythe is 2 hit rolls instead of 1, so he'll get 12 attacks. At +1 strength, 8 -1, 1 damage. Disgustingly resilient, Contagions of Nurgle and Teleport Strike. He's got a 4+ in 1 save for diseased Terminator armor. Host of the Destroyer Hive. In your command phase, you can select one enemy unit within 6 inches and roll 1d6. On 2+, it's D3 mortal wounds. Excellent. Master of the dead who walk. Boxwalk units within 6 inches. It's +1 strength for them. It's real hit rolls of 1 for core units within 6. Vector of disease, 3 inches to the contagion range of Contagion Abilities. Maximum of 12. That's very useful. And Herald of Nurgle. Include any Death Guard detachment without preventing other units that detach from carrying a plague by company rights. It doesn't mess up your plague company rules. So Typhus looking solid enough. A Death Guard Chaos Lord, 5 wounds, 5 attacks. The number of attacks is high here. This is pretty good. He's got this Status Chainsaw, which is -1. Yeah, 4+ in 1 save, real hit rolls of 1 for core units, and the usual rules. The Death Guard Chaos Lord, in Terminator armor, you get an extra attack. 2-up armor save, obviously. 4+ in 1 save. Yeah. Lord of Virulence, I'll call out a few of the points values a bit later, just at the end. So Lord of Virulence, this is the new model. It looks really cool. Movement 5, bit slow. Weapon skill ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 5, 6 wounds, 5 attacks, 2-up save. The Twin Plague Spear looks pretty good. Range 12. Heavy 2d6. Auto hits on the target. AP -1, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. The Plague Claw is ×2 strength, so strength 8. AP -3, 2 damage. It's -1 to the hit rolls, so he seems okay. It's got the 4+ in 1 save. Teleport Strike, Contagions of Nurgle, Disgustingly Resilient, Lord of Death, reroll hit rolls of 1 for core units. Master of Destruction. It is core units within 6 inches. Each time model unit makes a ranged attack with a plague weapon, a modified wound roll of 6, improve the AP by 1. So yeah, it seems okay. The Lord of Contagion, I've been up against him plenty of times. Still 6 wounds with him, toughness 5, 5 attacks base. The Man Reaper, which is +3 strength, -3, 2 damage, -1 to the hit roll. The scythe option is 2 attacks instead of 1. So it's like 10 attacks, crazy. +1 strength, -1, 1 damage. The Plague Reaper, ×2 strength, so strength 8, -3, 3 damage, and again it's -1 to the hit roll. Orb of Desiccation, 6-inch range, grenade 3d3, so between 3 and 9 shots. It's one use only, blast, plague weapon, and it's strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Interesting. Vector of, it's Disgusting Resilient, Contagions of Nurgle, Teleport Strike, Vector of Disease, add 3 to the contagion range, again to units nearby, 4+ in 1 save, and it's Lord of Death as well, so rerolling your ones to hit rolls within 6 inches for core units. The Death Guard Sorcerer, just skip him. Nothing in Terminator, I won't know. Malignant Plaguecaster, we'll skip him. There's rules here. Pestilent Fallout. Each time this model successfully manifests a psychic power, the result is 7 or more. The closest enemy unit within 12 inches suffers a mortal wound. It's something to remember during the game. In those 2 psychic powers. The Corruption Staff, or the Corrupted Staff, is +3 strength, AP -1, D3 damage. And it's a plague weapon. Now they've inserted some colour scheme reference here. So standard Plague Marines, the toughness 5, 2 wounds. 2 attacks base as well, interesting. Plague Champion is 3 attacks base. We'll maybe have a little look at some of these weapons profiles. The Blight Launcher is range 24, assault 2, strength 6, -2, 2 damage, plague weapon. The Bolt Gunner standard Plague Belcher, range 12, assault D6, strength 4, -0, 1 damage, and it's auto hits, plague weapon. Plague Spear, heavy d6, range 12, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. It's a plague weapon, and it also hits. Bubonic Axe, +2, strength, -2, and 1 damage, plague weapon. The Flail of Corruption is +1 strength, -2, 2 damage. And you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1 with this weapon. So it'll be pretty good on a champion, if you can take that on him. The Great Plague Cleaver, ×2 strength, -3, d6 damage. Interesting. -1 to hit rolls. Mace of Contagion, +2 strength, -1 and 3 damage. And each time attackers made this weapon, it's -1 to hit rolls. A little bit annoying on your weapon skill 3+ models. Plague Knife is just strength of user, but is AP -1, and it's a plague weapon, 1 damage. Demonic Plague Blade, +1 strength, -1 and 1 damage, plague weapon. And Power Fist, usual rules. Icons is Icon of Despair. In your morale phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within engagement range of the bearer's unit. On a 4+, it's mortal wound. And Sigil of Decay. Each time an attack is made by a bolt weapon by a model in the bearer's unit, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 is auto wounds on the target. And that is actually really good. That's a brilliant one. That's your options for what you can equip them with. They've got Malicious Volleys, Remorseless, Disgustingly Resilient, Contagions of Nurgle, all built in. And Vectors of Death. A Plague Marine equipped with 2 melee plague weapons has an attack characteristic of 3. Nice. Yeah, and there's all your options. Brilliant. Fantastic sculpt work on these. Plague Champion with a little squiggy thing. What are they called? Nurgling thing at the base. Death Guard Cultists, just skip them I think. Nothing too major going on with them. Poxwalkers. Toughness 4 on them, thanks. 2 attacks base. Improvised weapons, just a nothing. And then Curse of the Walking Pox. Each time melee attack is made by a model in this unit, if an enemy model is destroyed, one of it is just resurrecting models. Just get this right here. One of the unit's destroyed models is added back with a wound remaining. Models added back to this unit can set up an engagement range of enemy units. Mindless Horde. This unit cannot perform actions. In addition, if this unit is included as part of a crusade force, it can never gain experience, and so on and so on. Fodder. Each time morale test is taken with this unit's auto pass. And Unending Horde. Each time model on this unit would lose a wound. On a 6, the wound is not lost. Right, okay. So 6+ Feel No Pain, not the 5+ Disgustingly Resilient. So a little bit more open to damage. There is the stratagem to help them out. So it's too bad, not too bad. Noxious Blight Bringer. Just got a standard plasma pistol. The Cursed Plague Bell. Strength use, AP -1, 2 damage, plague weapon. And then I'll just cover his abilities here. So Sickening Vitality is an aura. Plague Company Core or Plague Company voted Virion units within 6 inches of this model. Each time a unit is selected to make an all move or advance, it's +1. Toxin of Misery. On an enemy unit is within 6 inches, it's subtract 1 from their combat attrition tests. Easily forget that one, it's not too big a deal, I don't think. And then Empiric Malaise. While an enemy psychic unit is within 6 inches, it's -1 to psychic tests. Noxious Blightbringer. I don't think is he really worth bothering with. Yeah, maybe a weaker choice, that one. But now we've got this one here. A Foul Blight Spawn. Model looks fantastic. Usual stat line, toughness 5, 4 wounds, 4 attacks. He's equipped with Blight Grenades, Crack Grenades, and Unholy Death's Head Grenade. There it is, modelled on. I hate to think what it does. He's got a Plague Sprayer, 12-inch range, nice. Assault D6, strength 7, -3, 2 damage. Ugh. And it's also hits. Oh boy. Nice, his character, yeah. Burying him in amongst. He's a very handy unit to hang around with your Plague Marines. Just bury him behind the unit, have him in the middle, just spewing out stuff. Because he'd damage anything with that weapon. Nice. Bit random though. Assault D6. Unholy Death's Head Grenade. Range 6 inches, 2d6 grenade. so between 2 and 12 shots. Strength 5 -1. It's blast weapon, plague weapon, and it's a one once per game. Disgusting Resilient, Contagions of Nurgle, Putrifying Stink. At the start of the fight phase, you can select an unit within 3 inches of this model. The unit is not eligible to fight this phase until all other units. Right, so it's a bit like the Judicia for the Space Marines. And his main emphasis is a decent shooting weapon. Interesting. The Biologos Putrify next. Another fantastic sculpt here. Be interested to see the points cost of these, we'll cover that in a moment. So, movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4 times 5, 4 wounds, 4 attacks. So he's equipped with an injector pistol, plague knife, hyper blight grenades and crack grenades. So the injector pistol, range 3, pistol 1, strength 4 -1, 1 damage. It's a plague weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon against infantry, cavalry or beasts, if it attacks successfully wounds and it's coming in at strength 4, it's D3 mortal wounds in addition. And then the hyper blight grenades, range 6, grenade D6, strength 4 -1, 2 damage, blast, plague weapon. So just going by that stat line, whether it's worth going for him. But you also get Disgustingly Resilient and Contagions of Nurgle, Blight Racks Aura. While a friendly bubonics has started units within 6 inches, blight grenade models that units equipped with have an armor penetration characteristic of -1 and damage of 2. That makes a difference. Putrid Explosion. If the model is destroyed, roll 1d6. Before removing it from play on a 4+, it explodes and causes a mortal wound to units, excluding Nurgle units within 6 inches. And Foul Infusion. Once for battle at the start of either your charge phase or fight phase, you can select one friendly Plague Company core unit within 6 inches of this model. Till the start of the next command phase, each time model that unit makes a melee attack with a plague weapon, a modified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. And unit can only be selected for this ability once per turn, so it's interesting. You've got the Tallyman for the plasma pistol. He's got Malicious Calculation. In your command phase, this model can tally for one friendly Plague Company core unit within 6 inches until the start of the next command phase. Each time model unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. One unit can be tallied per turn. And a 7-fold Kent. At the start of the command phase, if the models on the battlefield roll 2d6 on a 7+, you gain a command point. Yeah, interesting, rules fan. Okay, and then the Plague Surgeon. Imagining he's going to add more resilience to your army. So, nothing really special on the stat line. These are all elites, these choices. Revitalizing Malignancy. At the end of your movement phase, this model can heal one friendly bubonic Astartes infantry model within 3 inches. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds. Each model can only be healed once per turn. Tainted Narfesium. While a friendly bubonic Astartes infantry unit within 3 inches, each time a model unit can lose a wound, it's a 6+ feel no pain. So yeah, useful enough. Especially now with the old Disgusting Resilient, the 5+ ignoring wounds is gone, that becomes more viable. Depends how tight you want to pack your lines. It's seen for 9th edition, you're having to spread out a lot. So maybe the days of tight auras is more limited than it used to be. These are the new, I think the new Blighted, or the Blight Lord Terminators. They look incredible. This one here, with the autocannon and bow sword, looks fantastic. Brilliant one, that one. So Blight Lord Terminator, similar to the Death Shroud. They're a higher power level though, 10 power level compared to 7. So you really want these to get stuck in, otherwise they're a bit of a waste, I would imagine. You don't want them just wandering around, just firing shooting weapons. You want them in the thick of the fighting. They're slow enough, movement 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds each, 3 attacks base, the champion has 4. 2 up save obviously. They do have the invuln save here, it's 4+. The usual abilities, Disgusting Resilient, Contagions of Nurgle, Teleport Strike, Remorseless. And the lower damage coming through against these would be very helpful. You can have up to 6 of them in a unit. So Cold Blight Launcher, Combo Bolter, Plague Spewer, Reaper Autocannon, range 36, heavy 4, strength 7, -2, but only 1 damage. Oh no. Why? Strangest thing. Why would that be 1 damage? Okay, Bow Saw. Bubotic Axe, +2 strength, -2, 1 damage. Plague Weapon. And the Flail of Corruption. Eesh, not so good here. Not that scary. Flail of Corruption's +1 strength, -2, 2 damage. And you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1. So the Flail of Corruption on the squad leader would be good. It'll give you 8 attacks. There's no -2 hit rolls. It's 2 damage. That's pretty good. But the autocannon's a bit of a letdown. Should it have been 2 damage? Don't know. There's the combinations you can go for. So they seem okay. Not bad. Okay. Right. Death Shroud Terminators. So you got the Man Reaper here, +3 strength, -3, 2 damage, -1 to the hit rolls, which is a shame. No, it's not, because the weapon skill starts off at 2+ actually. So they'll be hitting on 3s with that. And the Scythe is 2 attacks instead of 1. They've got the Bodyguard ability here. They have the 4+ invuln save as well. The Bodyguard ability, which is a Play Company character. So I wonder if they can protect Mortarion. Don't know that one. Has a wounds characteristic of 9 or less. Ah, well, there you go. Is within 3 inches of this unit. Any models cannot target that character with their ranged weapons. Nice. Okay, so they'll be pretty effective at that. Okay, then on to the Hellbrute. I'm not going for that too much. I don't think so. We know about all these weapons here. There it is again, the Reaper autocannon, damage 1. Twin less cannon. Hellbrute Fist, it's ×2 strength, which is strength 12, -3, 3 damage. If you've got 2 of the fists, you get an extra attack. The Hellbrute Hammer is ×2 strength, -4, d6 damage. It's -1 to the hit roll. So not so good, he's not starting on 3+. And the Power Scourge is +1 strength, -2, 2 damage. And you get 3 additional attacks to that weapon. He does have Monstrous Resilience, which is going to be -1, 2 damage. Yeah, same as the Space Marine Dreadnoughts. He gets Frenzy. Each time this model makes an attack, if it has 7 or fewer wounds remaining, reroll wound rolls of 1. That's about it for the Hellbrute. You've got Death Guard Possessed. This is still on Elite, so this is the last of the Elite's choices. Just 2 wounds each for these. You get 5 to 10 of them in a unit. Movement 7. Horrifying Mutations is Strength User, which is Strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage, Plague Weapon. And a 5+ invuln save. Yeah, amazing. Chaos Spawn. It's 7-inch move, 4 wounds each, toughness 5, strength 5, assault 2d3. And the Hideous Mutations is strength of the user, which is strength 5, AP -2 and 2 damage. And whilst enemy units within 6 inches of this unit, subtract 1 of the leadership characteristic, and mutated beyond reason. And the first time this unit is selected to fight in the fight phase, roll d3, and you get either 1 is Razor Claws, so to the end of the phase, Hideous Mutation weapons have an AP -4, excellent. Grasping Pseudopods, at the end of this phase, models in this unit have an attacks characteristic of 3d3, brilliant. And Toxic Hemorrhage, at the end of that phase, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can reroll the wound roll. Another good one, these are all good. So Chaos Spawn stats looking pretty strong. The Blight Hall is next. So add movement 10, 9 wounds each. Just really a shooting weapon. Got Bile Spurt, range 12, assault d3, strength 6, -1. You can make attacks within engagement range. The missile launcher, as usual, multi-armor the usual, and the Gnashing Maw. So it's equipped with the missile launcher and multi-melter. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of weapons on this thing. Putrid Explosion, it's 4+ explosion, 5+ invuln save. Foul Stench, -1 to their attacks hit roll in melee for the enemy units. The Foetid Bloat Drone, 4 attacks base, wounds 9. The Heavy Blight Launcher, range 36, assault 6, strength 6, -3, 2 damage, plague weapon. Nasty weapon, that one. And the ballistic skill is 3+. The Plague Spitter, is auto hits on the target, assault d6, range 12, strength 6, -1. The Flesh Mower is +1 strength, -2, 2 damage. And you make 3 hit rolls instead of 1. What? That's a lot of attacks. 12 attacks. Nice. Oh, it's a killer of Primaris. A Plague Probe. -2, strength user -2, 1 damage. 5+ invuln save, explodes on a 4+. They're just a pain, them things. A real pain. Yeah. 2 Plague Spitters, that's right. Yeah. The Heavy Blight Launcher is a pretty good weapon. You're guaranteed assault 6, nice. Really good weapon. So the model's Flesh Mower can be replaced with one of the following, right? So you either go for your double Plague Spitters or your Heavy Blight Launcher. I'd be tempted, if I had 3 of them in the army, I would go 2 of them with the double Plague Spitter, and I would put at least 1 of them with a Heavy Blight Launcher. You fire 6 shots every turn. You're going to take out stuff with that. Yeah, maybe pretty good for holding backfield objectives, something like that. Yeah, because it's toughness 7. The Plague Burst Crawler, 12 wounds, toughness 8. Its movement really drops down just to 4 inches in the last few wounds. Ballistic skill, remember there is the stratagem to help it out though. Ballistic skill drops as well, 3+, 4+, 5+, at least it's starting on 3 now. And the strength drops down, which I don't think is going to make much difference. The Entropy Cannon is strength 8 now. I think it used to be strength 9 or 10. It's AP -4, but it's D3 +3 damage, and it's a plague weapon. The Slugger is heavy 4, both of these range 36. Heavy Slugger is heavy 4, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. The Plague Burst Mortar is range 48, heavy D6, so a little bit random. It's a problem. Strength 8, -2, 2 damage. And you can still fire at stuff that's not visible. It's Blast and Plague. Plague Spitter, we've covered that already. And the Rot Hail Volley Gun, rapid fire 3, strength 6, -1, 1 damage. Yeah, the only thing I worry about this is this random, and I've seen Aaron get annoyed by it during games, is the dreaded D6 shots. It can let you down, just as you need it. Whereas something like Assault 6 is brilliant. You know what you're getting every time. And with this thing, there's no profile with these, so you're just going to get your 3+ ballistic skill every time. Yeah. Do you have your 5+ invuln save? And explodes on a 6. Yep. Yeah. No. They're tough old brutes though. Toughness 8, 12 wounds. The Chaos Land Raider. We'll not cover anything on there, I don't think. The Chaos Predator Annihilator, Chaos Predator Destructor. We'll skip through those ones. The Defiler. It's an old model. Games Workshop could really redo that one. There's amazing conversions and stuff have been done. Only toughness 7 on this thing. It does have 14 wounds though. 5 attacks base. The movement drops down, which is a pain, all the way down to 4 inches. The last 3 wounds remaining. Weapon skill drops and ballistic skill drops as well, down to 5+. The Defiler Cannons, range 72, heavy D6. See that randomness? Not so good. Strength 8, -2, 3 damage, blast. The Havoc Launcher is range 48, heavy D6, strength 5, -0, 1 damage, blast. Heavy Flame, Twin Defiler Claws is ×2 strength, -3 and D6 damage. There's no minuses. And Defiler Scourge is +4 strength, so fighting at strength 12, -2, 2 damage. And you get an extra 3 attacks with the weapon. So 8 attacks. Yep, you do get Infernal Regeneration, so you're regaining a lost wound in the command phase. 5+ invuln. Chaos Rhino, we'll skip over that one. Onto Mortarion, we'll skip that one. No, I'll have to cover this one. 25 power level for Mortarion. Here we go. So, there's only 2 parts of him that are affected by damage. Interesting. So his movement drops, but it goes from 12 to 10 to 8. So that's not too much of a big deal. 8-inch move is still okay. If they put his wounds up, he starts on 18 now. His attacks drop down from 7 to 6 to 5. And again, that's not that bad. 5 attacks base is still really good. So damage, he has to go into damage profile, but the effects are nowhere near as bad as what other units have to take. So that's good. He gets his toughness 8 now. As I said, he starts with 7 wounds, leadership 10, 3 up save. Weapon skill, ballistic skill always remain at 2+. So he's equipped with a lantern and attendance, claws and teeth, silence, phosphex bombs, and you can only include 1 Mortarion model per army. So the lantern then, range 12, pistol, 1 strength, 8 -3 and 3 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit roll is scored, draw on a straight line between the closest point in this model's base or hull and that of the closest model in the target unit. So you are quite restricted with that. It has to come from the closest point. Make 1 wound roll against the target unit, and each other unit this line passes over, and you've got the potential of causing some nasty wounds there, so not bad at all. The attendant's claws is strength 2, -0, 1 damage. Each time the bearer makes its attacks, it's D6 additional attacks with their pitiful little weapons. And then silence, this is called. Here we go. You choose your profile. Eviscerating blows, times 2 strength, so strength 16. AP -4, D3 + 3 damage, it's a plague weapon as well. Yuck. And then Reaping Scythe is strength 8 of the user, AP -2, 1 damage, and you get 3 hits instead of 1, so you're looking at 21 attacks with that. Phosphex bombs, range 6, grenade 2d6, strength 5 -1, 1 damage, and blast. So you really want to keep this guy away from you, as per usual. She's got disgusting resilience, so -1 damage. Ugh, great. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay, and then Contagions of Nurgle, and then we've got all these extra special rules here. Primarch of the Death Guard. If in the command phase, select one friendly Death Guard core or Death Guard character model within 6 inches. To the start of the next command phase, each time model unit makes an attack, you reroll the hit rolls. Lord of the Death Guard, it's an aura ability while a friendly Death Guard core unit is within 6 inches of this model. Each time a model unit makes an attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. Demon Primarch, if your army's battle forged, this model must be your Warlord. If more than one model in your army has a rule to that effect, then one of those models must be your Warlord. He's got a 4+ in 1 save. He has Host of Plagues. At the start of your first battle round, select one of the following Warlord traits: Shamble Rot, Ferric Blight, Gloaming Bloat, I was going to say Eater Plague, Sangus Flux, the Droning, Nurgle's Fruit. You cannot select a Warlord trait that another model in your army already has. To the end of the battle, the model gains the selected Warlord trait in addition to any others it has, even if it is not your Warlord. Putrid Explosion. He blows up on a 4+. Units within 6 inches, D3 mortal wounds. And Toxic Presence. This model counts the battle round as being number 4 for the purposes of contagion range. How interesting. So Mortarions looking tasty enough, looking a lot more difficult to bring down. And the problem is with these bullet magnets is they absorb your energy and your time whilst the rest of the army is moving out, claiming objectives and reaping in points. And you can't ignore Mortarions, you've got to go after him, so you know it's going to buy you some time in the game. Even if it's brought down, tactically it could be useful that way. So yeah, Mortarions definitely an option, I think. Miasmic, and really if you're going to collect Death Guard, you've got to get Mortarion, the model's incredible. The Miasmic Malignifier, this is the building thing. When it takes damage, the strength drops, so I don't suppose it's going to make much difference. Toughness 8, 12 wounds, 3 up save. It's got Noxious Stink, which is range 6, heavy 2d6, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. It's auto hits on the target. So what does it do? Just sits there. What does it actually do? So disgusting resilient Contagions of Nurgle, Toxic Presence, then model counts the battle round as being 4 for the purposes of determining contagion range of Contagion Abilities. Interesting. Putrid Explosion, a 4+, it blows up, D3 mortal wounds to units within 6 inches. A Putrescent Fog. While a friendly Death Guard infantry model is wholly within 6 inches of this model, it receives the benefits of light cover. Oh great, so now you're going to get 2+ armor save across your whole army as well. If it was already receiving the benefits of light cover, then each time an attack is made against this unit, subtract 1 of the attack's hit roll. Oh great. Now that could be very useful. Would have been more useful in 8th edition, forming up a gun line. Maybe not so much now, but if you're clever, you could situate it between two objectives and then have units either side to benefit, something like that. Yeah, interesting. And then seeded growths. During deployment you set up this model. It can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 12 inches away from enemy deployment zone and enemy models. You could stick it right in the middle of the table. After Miasmic Malignifier is set up on the battlefield, you can then set up one Pox Furnace terrain feature wholly within 6 inches and more than 12 inches away from enemy deployment zone and enemy models. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So what does the Pox Furnace do? It's an obstacle terrain feature with the following terrain traits as described in Warhammer 40,000 core rulebook. Light cover, heavy cover, unstable position, difficult ground. If Miasmic Malignifier is destroyed, its Pox Furnace is also removed from the battlefield. As it can provide a bit of cover. And that's about it. So what you can do then is stick a unit behind the furnace, get the -1 to hit rolls, and get light cover as well. Beautiful. Then you're on to your weapons profiles. We've covered all these. I think this is it. Weapons, weapons, weapons. Points, values, and the last little bit to finish up. So your Death Guard Chaos Lord is 85 points plus upgrades. Death Guard Chaos Lord is 105 points plus upgrades. Death Guard Demon Prince 140 points. Death Guard Sorcerer and Terminator Armor 110. Lord of Contagion 120. Lord of Virulence 120. Malignant Plaguecaster 95. Typhus 165. Death Guard Cultists 5 points each, nice and cheap. Plague Marines 21 points each plus all your upgrades. Poxwalkers are 5 points each, nice and cheap. Biologos Putrify is just 65, that's not too bad, nice, not bad. Blight Guard Terminators are 40 points each, okay, not too bad. Not too bad, yeah, so you can get a decent enough unit for with upgrades of about 130, 140 odd points. Death Guard Possessed, 24 points each. Death Shroud Terminators are 50 points each. The Foul Blight Spawn, 75 points. Hellbrutes, 115 plus your upgrades. Noxious Blight Bringer is 60. The Plague Surgeon is 75. The Tallyman's 70. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Chaos Spawn, 23 points each. 30 Bloat Drones, 130 plus your upgrades. Yeah, not bad. Mephitic Blight Haulers, 140. Heavy Support, the Land Raiders, 285 plus your upgrades. Predator Annihilator is 130 plus all your upgrades. Predator Destructor, 140. The Defiler's 165, it's quite expensive. Plague Burst Caller, 165, and all you're paying extra is the 5 points for an entropy cannon. It's not bad, 165 is not bad, not bad. Really, a big lump of a thing, nice and tough. The Chaos Rhinos, 80 points. And Mortarion is 490 points. Ugh, a quarter of your army. But he's your guaranteed bullet magnet. Tactically, that could be very useful. And the Miasmic Malignifier is actually just 75 points. And that, I think, is not a bad points cost. Not too bad at all. To give you a lot of units to 2-up armour save, you could really enhance your Plague Marines. The downside of it is encouraging your army to hold back unless you deploy it in the middle of the table. You could do that and march towards it. You know, set it up ahead as a point of where you're trying to aim for in the game. Maybe. You could do it that way. And have your Plague Marines mostly for firepower support, so they're quite happy to hold back to some degree and send other units in close combat. Not sure on that one, but there may well be a slot for the terrain piece there, the Miasmic Malignifier, and your reference and so on there at the back. That's the review. I think this video is long enough, but I think we've covered pretty much everything here in this video. We'd always do a sort of full review on the channel, just to give you an idea. Maybe you're thinking about collecting Death Guard, not sure where to start. We've gone through some options there. We're looking solid enough. The units look strong. The new rules seem to make them as tough as ever. There's some amazing stratagems, some really, really good ones for Death Guard. So I think Death Guard players should be happy enough. I think the Death Guard are going to be a very difficult army to reduce down, and that means they'll be strong, I think, for 9th edition, because it's all about board control and presence on the table and controlling and holding objectives. And so Death Guard have got some very, very solid unit choices. Tons of variety, loads of different characters, some great rules, Mortarion at the heart of the army as well. Death Guard looking strong. That's my opinion. Leave your own comments and feedback. And what units do you think are strong? What combinations will you be going for with your Death Guard army? Maybe you're going to build a Death Guard army. What's your first choice is going to be? Read the comments and see what other people are saying to get an idea of what good combinations Death Guard players are using here with the new Codex. But thanks to Games Workshop for sending me a copy through. Much appreciated. Check out gamingfigures.com for your discount 40k and more. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.